Right. All right. All right, so we're already at five people in here. So I'm just gonna show you like the 3 tracks I'm gonna show you today. Also, if the mic is not loud enough, just let me know, because we did the test using OBS and now I'm using Streamlabs. So the mic, anyway, we might have to adjust that, but yeah. All right, so the first tune is gonna be The Lovers. Basically, this is the one. This is of my last EP, by the way. So that's for the first one. We're gonna go into the sound design a bit. As you can see, like most of the sound design has been flattened, sorry. Mainly because when I was making the track, the CPU was going kind of crazy, so I had to freeze all of that. Alright, that's just perfect. Alright, cool. So we're gonna go into this sound, this one as well. But yeah, we're gonna go into like some others as well. And now next, the second tune we're gonna go over is the Chario. It's the 3rd song of my new SCP. This one was the 2nd, by the way. Alright, so this is the 2nd song.
I'm going home. I'm going home.
So that's for the 2nd tune. And now the last one we're gonna go over for a special demand. What's up, everybody, by the way? I'm seeing all those comments. Happy to see all you guys here. It's my first time giving an online class like this, so pretty hyped for it. And this is the 3rd tune as well.
We get a mother. We get a
And we'll also go over the 2nd drop.
We get a
As you can see, like some sounds are a bit different. That's basically because when I made this one, it was everything was an audio unit. And when I went back, like 30 minutes ago, went back into the project, when I unfreeze everything, it just sounded different. So I was like, okay. So yeah, I had to redo some sounds and stuff. Anyway, so let's just go into the Lovers and let's dive into it. You'll see. It's not like a super complicated track. It's mainly like simple, but it's just like a lot of layering. You'll see. It's pretty cool. All right. So the song, basically this one, it blends in with the first song of the EP. So I got the first song of the EP right here, like the ending of it. So at first, here in the first 8 bars, this is just like to kind of like give a bit of the mood and like kind of give the emotion of the song. So basically, let's start at the top. We have this little sound here. As you can see, it's like really not loud. That's mainly because I use a lot of sound like to make my my atmospheric stuff. So like I'll have like a lot of layer of like sound that are not like super loud to make like one. Yes, I'm recording, by the way. Here you go. But yeah, so I'll have like a bunch of like different atmospheric sound to like just make one unique sound. So then I got this one, the kind of crowd sound. I also got this synth from Oliver Pack on Splice. It's really good. There's also like some processing, so it's kind of like building up. Which, as you can see, like it's very subtle in the mix. Like if I play it. It's like really like always like some super like not loud sound that I always add to make it like sound full. I got this one as well. This one as well. I got this. I also got this one. This was back when I had my the little neutron synth that I had, like the red one. I made that with that. I made this with that. Yeah. Also, the ending of Eurofint is in here, just so we have like, just so it blends in like a lot better. Because like without it, it's kind of like just. Well, I'll just. Sorry. Take that off. So like that little ending, that little sample just like kind of really blends it super well with the rest. Then we have those sounds. Those are like they follow the same melody of the pluck and everything. And those are also like basic sound that come like with Ableton. So I think, like anyway, they're from there. Then we have also like this synth, this little this. We have this as well. This one is like throughout the intro.
Make your music stand out, get more views, and way more engagement. Bring your music to life. Get Music Visualizer in every format, even for social media. Get started today. The link is in the description.
So that's for the atmospheric sound in the beginning. Then we can go over the second part where the drums comes in. So in this part, well, just before this part, there's like a couple elements that kind of brings this part in. There's this, those little kind of like electric sound, those two. There's also this, I think this is an uplifter, yeah. To kind of bring the bass in, and the kick and the drums and all that. As you can see, also this one is a bit like more stereo than this one, just to kind of give some stereo like wideness to the mix. Also, there's also those little sounds here. It's really not loud, eh? Then you have also this. It's like a really dope sound. So that's it for kind of bringing in the drums, like the second part. Sorry, it's like all right. So then we can go over to the drums. Now there's the kick here. This is a little trick I do on most of my drums. So this basically is like the same kick, the 4 times the same kick. And like this trick is pretty important to get like your drums to punch through the mix, or to just make them a bit more present. And this is like especially like super helpful when you want to compress, when it's like super loud in the mastering. I'll also go over the mastering later on, because like it's a important part of like the whole mixing process and everything. Anyway, so let's get back to the. Anyway, I just want to explain this. So this is the main kick, basically. This kick is the same kick, but in Ableton you got this warp feature. It's like the beats, and then you select this one, and it just makes like this is the main kick. You got this one, which is like just a layer on top of it, the same kick but just snappy. If you don't have this, you can probably do it like that way with the fades. So and this like just makes it more snappy, and then you have like one that is 1 octave higher, with again like the same make it more snappy, you know, like. And then you got 1 2 octave up. So all together, it sounds like this instead of. So it's a bit more bright. It's like it'll also like punch a bit more to the mix. All right, so there's some question. I'll just go and check some of them. So yeah, all my orchestral stuff that I get, that I use, it's basically like all from like those 4 packs. Those 4. I don't like. I used to have Nexus, but I don't have it anymore because it was on Mac. And I changed computer, so. Yeah, so in the beginning, most of the layers, because I got this question, are you processing the atmosphere at all? Most layers look just a high pass. Most of the time, they're just like, I'll just drag and drop. Sometimes I'll have like a reverb or an echo or something on it, just to give it like some kind of like room. But otherwise, it's like if it sounds good like this, I won't add anything to it. Yeah, so yeah, it's like super. It's like some super, like usually like my go-to when I make music, when I choose sample, I try to have sample that I have to process the less that I can. So basically, I'm trying to find samples that just sound right and like already sound good. I feel like that way you just like get a much cleaner result. And also it's easier to just imagine like what it's gonna sound like at the end, since the simple already sound pretty similar to what you want. All right. So that's for the kick. Then you have this little snare. I could have added a bit to it, like add some layering to it, but it sounded pretty good like this. As you can see, I've added an EQ just to like boost certain frequency to make them pop through the mix a bit more. There's also this little layer here, just to give a bit of atmospheric sound to it. This was the sub. Also we got this here, which are kind of tambourines, I see. Just on top of the drums, on top of the snare sound. Now some hi-hats in here. More like tambourine kind of stuff, but here you got the shakers coming in. Also you got this little down that was in the beginning as well. You got this atmospheric sound as well, with like, as you can see, like I've high passed it, some reverb. It's basically it. You can see even with like the processing, it doesn't sound that much different. So it's really like finding the good samples and like try and like process them the less you can. Well, I mean, process them as much as you need to, but like try to find something that sounds like super close to what you want. Then we got a shipwreck again, the sound. And as you can see, once again, I got the a filter just to like kind of filters it up, bring it up, sorry. And then here, you got those kind of little sounds, just to add a bit to the beat, so it's like more interesting to listen to. And there is it, the hats in here. As you can see, I got the OTT in there. Patrick, you're making me laugh. But yeah, so basically, I got an OTT in here. That's basically because I really want to broad up like those kind of frequency and make them a lot more hearable. And I also got the transient shaper as well right after. So with it and without, I mean, of course, it's kind of sound like not as loud. I just got this little, yeah, gonna put that. So it makes them more snappy and a bit like, there's a bit more mids into it as well. So yeah, after that I like take out like all the lower end, because like I know the OTT is gonna bring that up, since like this is at 269, so it's like kind of here somewhere. So yeah. So then there's also this one. We got also this coming in on top of the more orchestral stuff. Then we got the this synth, which was, I think, earlier. Sorry, sorry, somewhere here, I think. But this one is up, one of these up, so they won't like phase out or whatever. All right. Also the same atmospheric sound that just keeps on. And then you got this one, which, well, I'll show you this. So it's like a never-ending riser. I've done that a long time ago. So basically how it works is like you have kind of like 4 notes rising, and when one ends you have like a long release, and then there's another one that's like lower than all the other notes. I have a long attack, and then they all rise, and then kind of go like from there. It's like, but I mean, I think there's tutorials online to do that. But yeah, it's like I know Hans Zimmer has used that a lot in his production. It kind of like just gives tensions. So having that like in kind of the break in here, kind of just like builds up the tension. Yeah, so that's for this part, I think. Oh no. So you have those little downlifters. Not even, no, they're took out. We got this riser actually. And we also got all of those other risers and kind of downlifters. Alright, so now for the break, the little kind of break build up part. So you got this downlifters. You have also like those toms, kind of impact. You also got this synth earlier that we had. So this one stays the same, but this one comes in and it's like the melody playing on top. I also got those synths here. All right, so yeah, there's a lot of layering, but like for example in this case, it's usually like the same layer, but like 1 octave up, 1 octave down, or like two octave up. Usually I do that a lot with pretty much all my synths when they're like in breakdown and stuff, because like usually this only like, for example, it'll only like kind of like I wouldn't say widen the spectrum, but like the frequency spectrum is going to be more full if you have like three layers of the same sound, like 1 octave up, 1 octave down, than if you only have one. So instead of having only just this sound, for example, I'll go in here. I can have this. This sound out of tune. Yeah, this is out of tune. Okay, I don't know why, but let's just, I guess, tune it back to what it was supposed to be. That's better. I don't know why this happened, but anyway. So I got this. Anyway, it was an F actually, so I downpicked. Anyway, this isn't supposed to be out of tune, but you know, stuff happened. So basically, this is just like 1 octave up, 1 octave down, and it just like gives more body to your synth, basically. I'm gonna take that one off though, because it's like out of tune. It's weird. Yeah, so yeah, the biggest note for this is like really keep the sound simple and layer it out, like just to make it more present in the mix, basically. So that's for this. Then we have this one coming in. Classic sound, but always sound good. Then we have also this one coming in. It's a trumpet on top of like the orchestral stuff. So kind of like following the melody. Then the same sound here comes back. And then we also have those FX going up. Those are more FX than. And then we go into the build-up. Oh, also we got this little sound. And then, well, those are already. We got this one, just like going up. And we got a couple other ones as well. But they're like, you see, like, usually, like, I'll try to, like, reuse the same FX all the way to the track, because, like, it keeps it, like, more, it kind of feels more like one track. Even if, like, you change synth or, like, you change the melody or whatever, if you keep, like, the FX and the atmospheric sound the same, the track will be, like, more cohesive. If you have, like, a second break that's completely different than the first one, and second drum that's completely different from the first one as well. Alright, so that's for the little part before the build-up. Now we can go over the build-up and the drums and all that, because you can see there's a lot of stuff in here. Alright, so right before the build-up, I always try to have like some kind of breaks or whatever, just to like announce that there's something coming when the build-up comes in, and it's like kind of energetic. So I got all of those little sounds. Those are like pretty much all samples. Like usually when I go like for my everything in my track, I'll try to have a sample. But everything like bass for drops is gonna be a MIDI, and like I'm gonna be doing it. But otherwise, like for break stuff, I don't mind like using samples and like presets for like stuff. Of course, like usually like I'll try to make my own, because it's like if you make your own, then you can save it and like reuse it all the time, and you can develop your sound from that preset and like always build onto that preset. That's one thing I do a lot with my bass. But like yeah, like I said, for like break stuff, I don't think too much about it. Thanks, man, Reza. How do you come up with your melodies? Just everything with yeah. So usually I'll come up with melodies. I'll have like I can just like go on this quick. So usually I'll just load like a serum or whatever. I'll just have like something like this. And the first thing I do is I try to have an idea of like what the rhythm is. So let's say like this track is in F. So let's say the rhythm is like this. Okay, let's make it. Maybe you have it like duplicate like this. And then you kind of like just loop it. Well, the rhythm is like not that complicated. We could have like add something like and like then from there usually what I try to do is like try to have like some chords going on top of it. So oh sorry, like this. Just gonna have a little reverb just to give it like some nice sound, and then so we go from there. So well, this is not some chords, but I feel like for this kind of like thing, this kind of works pretty well. You can like make the sound. So yeah, that's pretty much like usually how I try to start my my melody. But like usually along the way, sometimes I'll just add like some random stuff, and I'll try to always like, because usually like what I try to do is like I'll try to lay down this a little melody like this, and then I'll go from there. And then at some point I'll be like, okay, now it's kind of like missing some kind of pads or whatever, and then I'll add the pads afterwards. But usually like I really start from like a simple melody, like a simple pattern, or a complicated one. But I start from like 1 or 2 pattern, and then I try to go from there. And then like once I really need to add like some pads and stuff, I'll go and like add some pads. Because usually I feel like pads are just like kind of filling things up. So it's always good to have an idea of like the main thing, how it sounds and like how it feels, and then just after that add some pads. I feel like it's more, I wouldn't say logical, but I feel like in a way like it's easier for me to like balance things out like this. But yeah, if you have any questions, just ask them on the chat. I'm trying to look at like every 5 minutes or so. So yeah. But as you can see, like most of the time, my tunes have like some fairly like simple melodies. It's just like trying to find something that's catchy. So you know, like having like a 2-bar and just like listening all the time. You know, after like 10-15 minutes, you already know like if it's not good, if it's like corny or whatever. I try to like switch up bass line because I feel like it's, you know. Maybe more like this. Yeah, something like that. But I mean, I'd probably work on that. You know. But that's basically how I do it. All right. So let's get back to the song. So yeah, right before the build up, I added those sounds, kind of like breaking also like the other part. We also got like this kind of glass thing. Well, I can. You got all those sounds. You got those two as well with this one. And pretty much all the sounds, like the electronic kind of sound that I use, they're all from ESM. It's like they got multiple pack on Splice, I think. And usually what I try to do, in those cases I haven't, but usually what I try to do now is like when I grab one and drop it in, I try to transpose it. So if you hear it and then you go on Splice and hear the same sample, it's not like it doesn't sound like exactly the same sample. Even if there's a lot of them, like you'll see if you go check on the pack, there's a lot of samples like this, and they're really good. They're really good. Yeah, so that's before the build up. We also got this little sound from I Will Talk. It's like a kind of like a CDJ scratch or ending. It's like reverse. Kind of like really comes in super well with the drop, because like here it's kind of breaking and like comes back. Then you also got this one. as you can see, like you don't really hear them that much, but like if I took all of the sound that you don't really hear, it would make a big difference. Once again, you got all of those sounds, and I think that's pretty much it. Yeah. All right, let's go to the build-up. The build-up is pretty cool because you got the drums. Yeah. Okay. So now, the main drums, kick and the snare. Okay. Oh well, yeah, also that. And that. Okay, so that's for the drums. So basically my tip for like build up drums is to use drums that sound good together, because like this snare might not be the best snare, this kick might not be the best kick, but together they sound super good and they have the feel I want. So like if I just listen to this kick, not that bad, but alone it's like kind of boring in my opinion. So if I had like this snare, which is kind of like an old snare, well basically I'm showing you like so basically like I had this kick and then I added this snare and then I added the other layer to like fill the frequency I was missing. So we got the kick and then the two snares here. This is a snare I found way back then. Like somebody made a remix of like snares from Skrillex, and this one is like really good. So with this one, both sound like this. Doesn't sound that good for a snare, but with the kick, sounds pretty cool. But then also I'm adding like this snare, this one. So all together, so you can see like the kick is not like overly too loud, but it got his presence. Snare is also there. Nothing is compressing the other, like it's not like squashing the other one. So everything is there. You also got the shakers. You got the FX down as well here. Here you got the same FX as well. You got the snare coming in. You got another snare here. You don't hear it that much, but just kind of filling the mid range high end for the noise. You also got this little sound, and those are just like to kind of like build into the drop, just to have like some nice elements that kind of like you know, like those are kind of the kind of elements that, you know, like if you listen to the track like for 100 times, at some point you'll be like, whoa, there's some stuff in the drop that I didn't even know, you know. Those are the kind of sound that I'm talking about. So you don't really hear them. Sorry, I'm just reading some. Okay, Nick Hunter asked, "Do you follow a theory base or a groove? Sound good idea when composing a call." Okay, so do you follow a theory base or a groove? Usually I try to follow the groove because I feel like the groove, it's not more important, but in my opinion it's like in dubstep, like for example the drop, like there's kind of like no melody, so the groove is like more important. So I'm just gonna kind of translate the groove into the break and the melody, like the groove of the drop into the break. I really can't wait to just always sound. Sup boys, sup. So yeah, I mean, the tip here to make build up is just like when you have like really solid drums, everything just gets super easier, because then you'll add just like some white noise going down, or like some FX like this, and some other FX going up. I'll show you what I added. You also add like little snares like this. Like those are in pretty much every single track I make. I think it's always the same snare. A snare I made a while ago, but it's just like kind of building up. I also got this one. You also got those two like kind of FX snare just to like just to have on top of the original drums. We got the riser here. You got this. You got the downlifters here with an auto pan, and you also got the bass the bass of the drum that's kind of like coming in. Also, I'm seeing a question about the way I EQ all of those kicks and snare. Usually it's I drop it in, and if it sounds good, like I'll EQ it a bit, but not that much. Otherwise, I'll just like take it out. I think those have been they haven't been flattened. So those two didn't have any processing at all. This one most likely had some processing. I go in here. It's the rhythm layer. Let's just hear both. Oh, so this one is a bit higher. So yeah, I'll usually like I'll pitch up and pitch down my sample. That's yeah, I totally forgot about that. So usually when I choose a sound, I'll drop it in. So I'll drop it in and then I'll play with the transpose, just to like see if there's another. Because I mean, on 0 it probably fit, but on +5 it's just better, I think. It's just kind of lower as opposed to this, which is kind of like just higher. So yeah, but once again, there's no processing at all. Only here that I'm taking out the end. But as you can see, it's a lot of like finding the good samples that sound good together, and then just layering them together, and like it's all about like the volume. So as you can see, there's not a lot of EQs on there. So I got this question. Your workflow seems like you throw down ideas super fast without thinking. Do you have any tips on how to deal with like 200 tracks where some people might get overwhelmed using that technique? Yes, you will get overwhelmed if you have more than 200 tracks on your project, if you're not used to it. I'm kind of used to it because like most of my project usually like I'll have like all my sound design on one place. Drums are gonna be like usually higher. But the thing is, the idea like to lay down the idea of the track super fast. I got those like for example, if we just like take those drums, I got those kind of like preset that I made. I'll show you. So basically, we just have the drum. So when I have an idea, I can just go in my synth folder and load up any sound I want, and you'll see this is like crazy cool. So this is like a patch I made a long time ago with like one of my wave, everything. But yeah, basically I can just like write something down and the sound is already super good. So I don't have to like first start with like doing the whole sound design. Put it in the mastering. So let's say like I got this idea of like making this crazy banger 1/4, you know. So I can just start from there and be like, all right, cool. Let's say the second sound is gonna be like a ta-ta, ta-ta. My bad, I'm just doing it like. So I can just go in there, go in the serum, and like change it, and like I can literally have an idea for the song in like 15 minutes and have like 16 bars already done. So let's say like I just want to play with the LFO. And then we can duplicate this one, go like this, go in there. And you already have like kind of an idea for the track, and it's like having like not even 5 minutes. So basically like the idea is like for this sound, it's a sound I previously made a while ago, and like all the post-processing is already there. So I can just load it up and like go back in CRM, change the wave, or like play with the sound, play with the FX or whatever, and it will just like kind of like change the sound but keep the same kind of tonality, keep the same kind of the same sound, but like it'll kind of switch. Like as you can see, like I can just like maybe start from here and like maybe I can even like boost that. Like you even like switch. I would probably change the remap now. So you can see, like, as you can see, like, I can really write down my ideas super fast because of this technique that I have, like all of my sound that I already made, and I really suggest you to do that because like this saves me a lot of time in this.
Make your music stand out, get more views, and way more engagement. Bring your music to life. Get Music Visualizer in every format, even for social media. Get started today. The link is in the description.
Allows me to make like, I can make like one track, well, not one track a day, but I mean I can make like 16 bars drop pretty much every day in like 2 hours easily, and it just like gets a lot easier that way to like select which one you want to put out, and also like select maybe like two projects and be like, all right, those sound good together, let's just like put them together. So that's one of the things I did with this one. As you can see, like or is it? Yeah, in the second part the sound design is lower, so it's like another project that I brought in. Also the sound design is a bit yeah, anyway, we'll get to that. So that's basically how I start my project. So yeah. Okay, so now yeah, so that was for the build up the drums. As you can see, like there's a lot of FX going up. There's also like the same stuff that was on the drum beat and the trap kind of drums in the beginning, and also in the build. And that's just to like add some stuff in the build up to make it more like full and like, whoa, something is happening, and like right there, like kind of empty with like the laser. And then you get this big bass in front of you. So it's kind of like playing with the perception of the thing. Yeah. So let's get to this sound. This is like the main sound. So you got the first sound, now it's Latin. But then you get this one. And we'll get, I'll show you how to make this one. Oh, by the way, I got a question about sound design. How do I begin with sound design? Should I pick a basic or straight learning the bass? In my opinion, sound design, you should first watch a couple tutorials. Well, first off, you should find a synth that you really want to learn. either Facepan or Serum. I think those are the two really good choice. You get also Massive, but I feel like with Serum, I don't know much about Facepan. With Serum, you got a lot of room for like creativity. Like you can put the LFO on pretty much like anything. You can remake your super like unique LFO if you want. As opposed to Massive, I don't think you can make your own LFO. I mean, you can use the macro, but anyway. So the idea is like find a synth that you want to learn it inside out, and then like from tutorials and stuff, and like sound design is gonna, well, as you learn it inside out, you'll learn out as well how to make like certain type of sound design, and like yeah. So basically, find a synth and watch tutorials and like play around with this, and that's like, because the best way to learn is really like to practice and like play around with it. But if you don't know how it works, you cannot really practice. So I'd say like watch tutorials on it, and like practice and watch tutorials, and find one synth. Don't try to like learn all of them at the same time, because it's just gonna get like more just like, I don't know, it's gonna be like harder for sure. Alright, so now this sound. So I can like, one of the things that's super important to know with my sound is that without the post-processing, it's super weak, like super weak. I will show you and you will understand what I mean by super weak. I sound that bad, but some of those are really worst. So now with all the sound, with all the post-processing. Woo! Alright, that's pretty dope, eh? The thing, whenever I start sound design, I always have the OTT. Well, in this case I have a gamma rays here, but the gamma ray is like not super, like it's just to give a bit of the sound a bit of wideness. But the really important thing here is the OTT. The saturator have a 9 dB of drive, and another little OTT with less amount. This one is 100%. Basically, the moment I open up Serum, when I want to make a new sound, this and this is already on. And what it allows me to do is like, it's already compressing the sound pretty intensively. So I already have a good idea of like how it's gonna sound when it's compressed. Because like in certain case, well, this becomes really important because I use a saw wave as the sub information of my basses. So basically, this bass, the sub is included within the patch, and all the post processing is affecting the bass. So there's no like sub layer. Personally, I feel like it sounds more cohesive that way, but it's really like however you feel and however you like it. So like any single one of my sound, like every single one of them will have a saw wave. Usually it's outside of the B, but in this case it's outside of the A. But yeah, every single one of my sound have a saw wave, and to make sure that it sounds good for like the sub content, you gotta know about your phase. Basically, the phase, this is the point where it like the sound start. So basically, if I take that up, it's gonna start like in that region. I don't want that because I want the phase to be like aligned super well, since it's like lower frequency. So that's why like I'll have the phase on the randomize on 0 and the phase I'll fine tune them. And coming back to the compression, with all that compression, if the phase are not fine tuned, like well in tune, the both wave are not in tune, well not in tune, but like well phased. I mean, you know what I mean. If they're not like, if the phase are not well aligned, basically it's just gonna sound like kind of more dirty and like less clean. So that's like one really helpful trick. So like put a lot of compression on your stuff and make your synth within that compression and like the distortion. And because like a lot of time people come to me and like they'll ask me like, oh, how can I get this sound to be cleaner? And it's usually within the sound design of the sound, it's just dirty. So like you cannot really get it. You can get it cleaner, but it's gonna affect the sound and like the energy of the sound and like the rawness of the sound. So it's always better to like make your sound clean from the start and add some distortion afterwards. Alright, So for the song, the sound, basically you got the oscillator delay, which is a saw wave that's gonna carry the bass. As you can see, the LFO is on the pan. This is just to give like some nice movement between like the two speakers. So it's kind of have like that. Like I can take it off and take it on. If I take it off, oh, my bad. So it just kind of gives a bit of movement into the stereo field. So that's one trick I do a lot on like sustained sound. If it's like a wub, I most likely won't have it because like you don't really have time to really like hear it. But on a sustained sound, like noticeable for sure. Then you get the peak notch. This is pretty much the filter I use all the time, going to A and B. Usually you have like people who use the high pass notch. This is basically just because they want to take off the low end as well. But I want to keep the low end in this sound mainly because I'm going to use it as a... I mean, the sub is within the sound, so that's why I need it. Then for the pros, the FX into CM, you'll see like I don't go too crazy. The hyper is just like gives a bit of stereo wideness. Same for the chorus, the delay as well. So it's not on BPM, it's on milliseconds, and the left and right are a bit delayed. So it's kind of giving that nice stereo effect. The EQ here is just to have like some more filtering once again. So I can show you like with and without all of that. What's really like changing the sound is the EQ here, that little notch. So yeah, this is pretty important. But those three is just like to make it a bit more wider, you know. So yeah, you got the OTT, and one really important thing about the OTT that you need to know, if you're in Ableton, if this can load, basically you get the multiband, which is like the multiband is the OTT, well, the OTT is the multiband, and if you go into like the different preset you have the OTT, and this OTT, what I suggest you to do is like go from this one and kind of make your own. So as you can see, like for example, the regular OTT, the frequency of like if I double click on this multiband, it's like my OTT already. So my OTT, the higher frequency is a bit lower, and the lower is a bit higher, and it kind of have like my own kind of sound to it. As you can see, I've also played the output a bit and the input. And also one other thing that you need to play with is the time, because this really affects the OTT a lot. So yeah, I'm gonna take that off as well. So yeah, basically make your own OTT, make your own version of the OTT. That's really important because like the OTT is such an important tool today. Pretty much like everyone uses it. So if you have the same OTT as everybody else, it's for sure gonna sound a bit more similar to everybody else than if you have your own version of your OTT. So yeah, and then from there, everything is in the EQ. You'll see. So this is the sound that we have now with like the OTT, saturator, and the auto OTT. As you can see here, there's a gamma ray and also a little EQ. This was part of like the gamma ray and the EQ was part of like my older bass chain. That's why it's still there. But like if I would be like in my newer project, there's no OTT gamma ray. There's only like OTT. There's no gamma ray and EQ. There's only OTT, saturator, and OTT to start with. So then you'll see like sometimes I'll have like some weird looking EQ, but that's fine. What's important is that if it sounds good, that's the most important thing. If it sounds good, that's it. So now with only this, so compared to so it gives it a bit of more distortion. It's a bit louder as well, and then this EQ is really used to like kind of like build the tonality of the sound. So like I'll show you like with and without, and you'll understand right away. So I'm kind of like building, boosting those frequency that, because I want those one to be like more present into the sound. So I'll just do them. Then I got a little saturator just to flatten the sound a bit. Another EQ. Another one. Makes it like much brighter. Then you got another bass. This happened because as you can see, like this is the same preset. It's because this was part of like this preset, or like 3.1. I don't have it anymore, but so basically every time I open up a project in Ableton, this is already on the first serum track. So I just lowered up this one and I put it on the serum track, and this was already on, so that's why it's still on. But basically it's just like giving a bit more distortion and compression, and it's lowering the volume as well. Then you got a saturator, which is like the basic, the OTT as well, and then you got those EQs, which once again are gonna shape the sound. Without the EQs, and with them. So as you can see, like those, for example, this EQ or this one, kind of play like kind of a big role. But as you can see, like that's usually like what I'll do like with my sound once it's like pretty good and like it needs more of that, like, you know, like energy. I'll always use EQs to boost certain frequency just to make them more dominant into the sound, also into the mix, and also make the sound a lot cooler, you know. So this is like the basic way I make my sound. So like, just to refresh that, is just like I found the wave I like. I add a saw wave all the time. I make sure the phase are well aligned, and because of the compression helps a lot. Then I'll add the filter, a bit of the FX, and then I'll go in on the post processing. So this is like always my way to make my sounds. Yeah, so that's for the first sound. I'm just gonna go check if there's any question, because there are. Okay, so how do you save your own OTT? Basically, to save your own little, because you can pretty much make any kind of like preset of any audio effect. Sorry. So basically, how you wanna save this is like you have OTT, you make your own version of it, you rename it like this, and then you're gonna save it right there, and it's gonna bring it up there. And also, what's cool about the little collection here is that you can tag them, and they're gonna be like where you tag them. So like if I say 1, it's gonna be tagged red to my drums. So when I come here, I got the OTT here. In my case, my OTT is like the basic preset of multiband, and the way you want to do that is like have your OTT and save as default preset. Yeah, I mean Maximus is similar. I think it's from FL. I don't know much about it, but I think it's pretty similar. So yeah. Oh, sorry. Tyler, I haven't seen a question. Oh, okay. After post-processing for sound design, it's redlining. And I see the same with my stuff. Either you compensate for the mix, lowering the volume, or sending it. Okay, so basically when I'm redlining, I'm sending everything to the mastering. Some might go into the, well, in those cases, they'll go into the sidechain. But like if I play the track, I'm really redlining like crazy. You can see like here, I can see like the bus for like the sidechain, and the kick and snare are here. And look how crazy they redline. And that's where I wanted to go first. Basically, I can redline like this because from like the moment I open up Ableton, the master chain is already on. So basically, my master chain is basically only the saturator. Forget about this and this and this and this and this. This is like the only plugin that really matters on the mastering chain. The saturator has this soft clip on, which basically you can like push the sound into it like pretty hard, and have like some nice harmonic distortion, if I'm not mistaken. So basically you can like redline and it's gonna sound good. In that case, as you can see, well, if I only had the saturator, I'm adding the EQ, because if I only had the saturator, I'm just going to show with this maxiscope. If I only had the saturator, you'll see that there's some space that I'm not using into the audio file. So you can see that space here. Since loudness is better, of course, I'm just adding a little EQ here, and I'm slightly boosting, you know, just certain frequency, just to like fill that little space with the frequency I want, and also I'll add a little limiter, like 0 dB gain, whatever, just to like limit it at like 0. So it's taking a bit more place, you know. It's really subtle, but it's just so like you can use that full space. The utility here is just like in the build-up. Usually I'll have like the width going down, the gain going down a bit, so just so like the build-up, the drop feel much more powerful. I also got this little plugin that I made. Basically, it's just like a plugin, a knob that I turn when it comes up, and basically the sound of it, like without it, it's just like for build-up purposes. Alright, so that's for the first sound. Now, like as you can see in this, like as I explained earlier when I was making like a little track, every single one of my sound, when I make a track, usually like when I want to add another sound, is I'll always duplicate the main sound and like go from there. So if you go in here, it's pretty much the same. It's not the same EQ at the end, but like the first part of like until here, it's pretty much the same post processing. Only the patch changes. So it's the same wave, same riffing, same post processing. The fact that this is going higher, and also like the filter is different, and the EQ here. But it's really like always when I have the first 8 bars, I can like really build the track from there, because like I'll just duplicate this and like go from there and like change the patch to make it fit with the second part, or the second part fit with the first part. So that's 3 o'clock. We'll go over Chariot, if you guys are okay with that. Okay, because I haven't seen the time pass. All right. Oh, but well, I mean, we haven't even got to the second drop. I can go over the second drop really quick, and then we'll go over the other song. So basically, in this case, as you can see, like the break is pretty much like very similar to the first one. A lot of elements are coming back, like this, most of the effects, the same drums are coming back in, same synth as well. So you can see like there's a lot of repetition in there. Usually what I try to do is I'll try to add like some other sound on top of it. In this case, oh well, I had this, so yes. Yeah, this is the one. So as you can see, like it's really like the same foundation, but just with a little melody on top. So it's nothing like really complicated or whatever, but it's just like that little change that brings something more to the song. And then here, instead of having like the ta 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 build up, you got like a more of a drum beat and like, oh, okay, it's cool. And this was a completely separate project from the first. When I was working on that tune, like the first drop, because how I usually do for like finishing tunes is I'll have like the first drop is already done, like the first 32 bar that's already done, and then for the second drop, usually I try to make like a bunch of project, and like what I'll do is like, for example, I'm looking for a second drop. I'll just go in like my big folder of project, and I'll be like, which one could fit well, you know? So in this case, I know that this one had a big bass at first. So I felt like a song, well, the second drop, if it was like kind of like I don't want to say those empty sounds, but like those more bass oriented sound. I felt like it was pretty cool. So yeah, so there it is. Here you can see it's not the good sound, but I know it's because I'll show you like this is supposed to be good, but when I unfreeze it, there's no patch anymore, unfortunately. You know. Anyway, so I kind of remade it because I knew like I already had the preset, but you know, it was like some fine tuning to make that sound. So yeah, so basically this is the drop. But yeah, if we want to go over that sound, I started from this one. I'm just gonna maybe duplicate it so I can show you a bit how I made it. Like this. Alright, so this was the starting point of the sound. This is the patch I have. This is like, I made this patch just to have like a sound like for kind of break between like the main sound. It's kind of like and you've probably already heard this sound somewhere else in my song. I've reused them quite a lot. So yeah, basically we want a sound that's like more bassy. Yeah, so this is going on the asymmetric. It's also going on the octave up, so that's why we kind of hear like a one up and like kind of one down. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how to remake that one so quick, but I mean, basically like that just shows you like usually when I start from a preset, I just go deep into it and I try to change like a bunch of things. So I might have changed something. Maybe it's a sine wave or something. You know, it's not a sine wave. But I mean, that just like shows that usually when I bring one of those like preset, I can like go into it and like really change it all, or have kind of a similar sound but like kind of different to make it more unique. So that's why like having those kind of preset is like super helpful for me, because I can just like drag it and like 5 minutes have a different sound. Yeah. So that was also, yeah, I mean I can show you that in the other later. So yeah, now we can go over the prediction. I think that's going to be the second tune instead of the chariot. Yeah, so I got this question: does tunnel mean if a sound doesn't have a particular fundamental frequency? Basically, the tonal sound is like the main frequency of the sound. So like, if I use like a bass, let's take this one. Okay, this one might not be the best. This one. If I look at it on a serum, no, on a serum, on a spectrum. Sorry. So the tonal of it would be like this one, because this is the loudest frequency in the sound. So it would be D0. Yeah, I think that's the, yeah, okay. So now, prediction. I'll go over the break really quick, because I mean, usually like I'll make my tracks is like pretty much all the same. I'll have like this little intro, then I'll try to have like some drums to make it easier to like mix it in, and then I'll have like a break, build up, drum. So in this case, we have this little melody. So once again, you get like this, oops, sorry, this main, and you got those sound that is like just like behind it, just like supports it. And in this case, you got this, the main one octave up is this one octave down is this one. So all together, it's like more present to me. So that's for the beginning. So as you can see, like there's a lot of layering, and like pretty much every time you see like a tree layers like this, it's the same one duplicated. So sometimes I have a lot of tracks, but there's not that many tracks. Well, that many tracks. There is, but duplicates, you know. I also got those little sounds when the drums are playing. It's just kind of building up. You also got the vocal here. It's a splice vocal, so it's pretty good. It's a pretty sick vocal. I flattened the vocal, but I think I pitched it down a bit and I've EQ'd it. But that's pretty much the only thing I did. I don't think I've added anything else to it. So yeah, you got the vocal, you got more elements like stuff and adds and stuff. Here, as you can see, you got the kick. This one is three cents. Anyway, if that sound good, that sound good. So you got like those three instants to like one. You also got this little bass that's acting as the 808. You got the snare. I think once again this is the same snare, but just like three duplicate. Yeah. So this is the main one. This is the same one, but with like the transient, only the transient. So basically, and then this one, which is one octave up and only the transient. So all together, instead of, sorry, it's not really noticeable, but in the mix, usually like it makes a solid difference. And then you got the adds in here. The way I did it is like, I think at first I had this add on like every single one, and then I changed certain one of them and I've removed certain adds just to like have a nice groove to it in it.
Get a motherfucker.
Got all the synths here. You got the serum. You got the piano. So you got a bunch of sound that just like all together, they really like fills the whole thing, you know. So that's it for the. All right. So now we got this. You got the snare going up all the time, and then you got the record. So yeah, you got the vocal here. you got this audio. So basically, this was the main kind of like sound of this was made with a synth, the Neutron. Once again, I don't have it anymore. It was borrowed to me. It's a great synth if you're looking for a synth. Great synth. This was Frozen. This was Flavin, sorry. Basically, I had a filter. I might have had a distortion, OTT, maybe. Like, it was processed for sure. But yeah, basically what I did is like, with the filters, like, I brought it down until we were approximately there, and then brought it up again. So it's like kind of acting as a downlifter and an uplifter at the same time. Then you get this one. Yeah. No, you don't have the magic stereo anymore. That's fine. So yeah, this once again was done with the Neutron. It's always nice to bring in like some real or analog synth into your production. It's always like, it's fun to like have the melody and like just mess around on the synth and just like find it, because like the whole break started from like me playing around with the Neutron and like finding like this one. I was like, this sounds pretty interesting. And then I found also, I made also this one, and I think there was another one. This one's the drop. Okay, so that's the only one. But yeah, I mean, it's always fun to like have it hands on, so yeah, then here you get the resample of the bass going up. At like 300, going up to like 5K, and the stereo width also is going down. Then here you get the best break that break, best break. So going up, I'll show you the drums. So basically you got the kick that's coming in. It's an acoustic kick, and it sounds really good by itself like this. So I didn't really want to add like another kick or whatever on top of it. It just sounded right there. And then you got the snare coming right at the end. Instead of having like a snare coming in, the ass just kind of like, I don't know, it's kind of like different a bit. I liked it. So yeah, you got this. But I mean, as you can see, like there's not a lot of drums going up. I wanted to keep this song pretty like simple in terms of like build up in drums, because I feel like sometimes I can spend like 2 hours on a build up just like adding stuff, and I'm like, yeah, like sometimes having a super simple build up is like, it's pretty cool. Like it's I don't know, it's different, and also it's for the sake of not always doing the same thing. So I think that it was pretty cool to do.
We get a mother.
Alright, so let's go and take a look.
Make your music stand out, get more views, and way more engagement. Bring your music to life. Get Music Visualizer. In every format, even for social media. Get started today. The link is in the description.
Take a look at those basses. Yeah, so if I well, okay, so the first bass is a combo of two. As you can see, well, as you will see, those two doesn't sound that great together. Like, you'll see, but I mean, like in the mix it sounds great, so that's why I kept it. So this is both together. Oh, sorry, not a good plugin. Yes, the Neutron by Beringer, dude, it's so good. I love it. But yeah, okay, so yeah, if I check on the spectroscope, as you can see, it's like kind of like distorting, because it's like really hitting it pretty hard. But if I take this out of the mix,
We get a mother.
I feel like it's just like less impactful.
We get a mother. We get a mother. We get a mother.
That's why I left it in there, because if we just solo both, it would sound just better to have this. But in the mix, this sounded pretty good to have, so that's why I kept it. So that's for the first sound. Second sound is a little tip tip. This is a little stab. I can show you the preset, I think, if it works. It should work. I've most likely... Oh, it doesn't work. The CRM is not there. But, I mean, I can show you, like... but it's basically just a little stab. A little stab... the LFO is on the cutoff, super fast, on the frequency as well, but it's not like that needed. Really super simple sound. What makes the sound is really all the post processing that's like squashing it. So yeah, that's for the little stab. How much space do you have between each sound in your job? They sound so clean and separate. Usually, I don't know. Like, it's usually when I'll do the LFO for my sound, I try to make them finish before the start of the other sound. But I also try to like fine tune them to finish at the right time and not too early or not too late. So yeah. But I feel like just having like sounds that already sound pretty clean and pretty good, if you just put them together, it's gonna sound pretty clean and pretty good for sure. I mean, of course, if you're like going crazy with the distortion on your mix down, might not sound as good. But yeah, I mean, usually like having some really clean sound helps a lot. And also, like, maybe a thing that you can do to like help that, because I'm trying to think of stuff. Put them. Sorry, man. I'm just bring them down to audio and try to like play with the fades to like make sure that they end at the right time. That can help. I know like phase one use a lot of audio. Like you make a sound with the MIDI and stuff, but it'll bounce it back to audio. And then you can like fine tune, like just get the right spot for the sound to sound good with the kick or whatever. Because that way you can like make sure that the phase are all good. Yeah. So that's for the second sound. Then you got this one, which is basically this one. I can show you real quick how it sounds first. Oh, my bad. So that's pretty cool to start from there and like being able to have like this kind of sound. And the way I made it like kind of go down is with an LFO filter. Sorry. So basically the first one. This is in F sharp. So basically the first one was like this. Well, maybe we should so yeah, I remember I used the auto filter, and I think I've used the detune as well. It was just because you can have like some different sound from playing with the detune. So once you play with this and the auto filter, you can have like some different tonality shift within the sound. Not tonality shift, but like you can make the sound kind of like make it seems like it's going down, but it's not. Like in this case. And you also got this one as well. As you can see, this one is a bit more of a high pass, low pass, high pass. on this one, and this one is a bit more open. Like just to give a bit more like it's not something you'll really like hear, but when you listen to the whole track, it just like feels like it's less repetitive, you know. And then after the first 4 bars, you get some other sound that comes in. So get those. And once again, this is like the filter going down like this, then starting a bit lower and going down a bit more, starting a bit lower and going down a bit more once again. So, and also you got those sound. Shout out to Company. Then you got the piano that kind of like brings the melody in. And you got those sounds that really brings the melody in.
We get them all.
And then when you get there, the bass kind of takes more of a kind of like gets in the back, and like the melody kind of like takes over. So you got more melody stuff, more synth and stuff going on. The bass changes, it becomes this one with this. As you can see, like solo doesn't sound that great, but in the mix it sounds good. So if it sounds good, it sounds good, and that's all that matters. In this case, also this sound changes as well. Just pretty much the same, but less distortion. Yeah. Then this one is the same. Yeah. Also, you got this melody. So I want to go over the melody, and then after that, I'll show you the reverb for the basses, because that's also another thing that's pretty important for this. For the drops in general, in fact. So you got all those synths that are coming into the second part. So with everything,
We get them all.
then you got like the top layer here. You also got this layer. This one. This one. So altogether it sounds pretty like altogether, like alone like this, it doesn't sound that great because it doesn't sound like super cohesive, but with everything else it does sound cohesive. Well, also with this is pretty old.
We get a motherfucker to drop.
Now you got the same synths as in the first place, in the first part, but I've added this LFO to kind of like mix it. Instead of so it's the same, everything is the same, but it's just with that feels completely different, or not completely, but kind of feels like it's something else, you know, like another synth or another layer completely. As you can see, the same drums are coming back in just to have like some kind of like repetition in a way. Then you have the break once again, the same, pretty much the same break, or very similar. As I can see, there's not much. Oh, it's the same break. Yeah, it's the same break. So yeah, After that, you got the second drop, which is I've took the first drop, duplicated it, and I've switched some sound. So basically, the first sound has been changed. So you get this. I think those are not the good sound once again, because when I unfroze them, the patch was like weird, so I had to edit it. So you'll see. Yeah, it's not the good sound.
We get him.
But still, I can still show you. Alright. Basically, it's really the same pattern, but the sound will change. So basically, instead of having like this one, you get so you get also this one. So yeah, this one basically is replacing this one. There you have this one. So basically, it's just really like I had all the MIDI, so it was just like duplicating it, duplicating the MIDI, and then just changing the preset, or even maybe like sometimes I was just going into the preset and like just changing it, or sometimes I was really going into this and like completely change the sound, like in this case. But yeah, I mean, usually the idea with the second drop, it's to have something that fits with the second drop and the second break, but to have something like kind of different that keeps the listener interested. So I feel like this one, since it was like more in the lower kind of sub region, having this and bringing my own sound on top was kind of like interesting. Yeah, and then in this part as well, you get the melody coming in, not here, but really here, because you keep like the aggressiveness in this phase, this part.
We get him all.
And now you see the melodies kind of coming back into it. So you got the auto filter here, bringing it in, and you also got well, there's no auto filter here anymore, but
We get a motherfucker to drop this shit.
and that's for the prediction. I can go real well. Hold up, I wanted to go over the reverb. That's true. Yeah, so that's the last thing I'm going to cover, but if you have any questions, just go in the chat and just ask me, and I'll answer that. So basically, for the reverb, oh my bad, what I always do if I want some reverb is I'll have like the whole drop, I'll resample like everything in every bass in the drop. So in this case, if I take that off, put out this as this. You can see I got the drop here. So basically what I'm trying to do, I'll have an EQ just to cut the low frequency. I have a reverb that is like super short, and another one that is like less short. And if I want one that is like longer, I'll have it like maybe like this, but the sound would be like much lower. I'll show you also how to mix it in a couple minutes, seconds. So basically, you make your own reverb that you like. You put it all the way up, because this is basically just a duplicate of the other sounds. So you make the one you like. Then it's gonna sound like. Then you EQ it, just so it's like more of the, not the lower end stuff, but not the high stuff, more of the mid that you want. So this one is super short because we're gonna put it in the sound, and basically we want just to have like a sense of reverb, because like usually with reverb, like if you get in a room and you talk, there's reverb for all the time, but you don't really hear it. Well, if you go in a big space, you'll hear it, but usually like if you go in a room or like in your kitchen or whatever, there's a certain reverb that you won't hear. Basically what I'm trying to do here is kind of mimic that, like kind of mimic the reverb of a room with this. Same thing goes with this, but this one is going to be like much lower compared to this. Kind of like mimicking the reverb of a room. And also with the decay time, you can really like kind of choose how big the room is you want to emulate, kind of. So both together, basically how I mix it is you have like the first that you want, and you listen to it with everything else. Now we can hear it. But basically you're trying to really fine tune it so you don't really hear it, but it's kind of there, but you don't really hear it like dominantly. It's really like really subtle effect. At least how I see it, like when I see reverb in like dubstep in the drop, it's like a really subtle effect just to give a bit of room to the sound, but not like big room, you know, like a small room. So then you can add this one, and the way I do it is when I have the first one done is I have this one like this until it sounds pretty good, and then it's, you know, it's good. And then you can also, if at some point while you're making the song you feel like it's not loud enough, just boost it or take it down, you know. Okay, so I got a question. So do you compose the interplay of those basses when they're in MIDI or after they're bounced to audio, or both? So basically when I make my drop, everything is in MIDI, mainly because I know that, well, when I make my project, usually like it's just going to be a drop for a future project. So basically when I make a drop, like in this case, when I made this first drop, well, maybe in the case of the Lovers, when I made the first drop, I already knew I wanted to put that out because I felt like it was just like, anyway, I wanted to put it out. So then the reason why I keep like all my project in MIDI is because, for example, I want a second drop, I find a project, but the sound is not like quite right, but it's nearly there, but it's not quite right. I can just go into the MIDI and like change it and like make it sound like I really want to. But basically, I'm a big like I prefer MIDI over audio. In this case, usually like the further I go into a song, like the more CPU heavy it is. So that's why I like freeze flatten my bass, because usually there's a lot of post processing. But yeah, I'm a MIDI guy. I'm not very audio guy. Well, for drums I'm audio guy, but for basses, MIDI guy. You know, MIDI guy. Yeah. So what I wanted to say, yeah. So that's for the reverb. Another point I wanted to go over really quick before we finish, because I'm going over the time, I think, but I don't think that's the problem. All right, cool. So the other point I want to go over is the mastering. So basically, the mastering is a saturator, and it's there from the start. You know, like I've said that earlier, but it's there from the start. And the idea is like the moment I open up a project, the snare and the kick is already there, because like I reuse my snare, I reuse my kick all the time, mainly because I made them and they sound pretty good. So I don't want to use them only for one tune, so I reuse them a lot. And you can do that as well. Like it kind of like the drums is kind of like the building foundation of a track. It's gonna give you the rhythm. It's gonna give you like the like everything, tempo, everything. So it's important that you have like some really good drums, because like if you have some really solid drums, usually like everything else around them is gonna sound better, in my opinion, usually. So yeah, I always use the same drum, same snare. Well, most of the time, because like, well, you can even try like if you double two of my songs together, you can see like sometimes the kick and snare will phase each other out because it's the same kick and snare. Yeah. So yeah, basically when I start the project, the mastering is already on. The kick and snare is already on as well. And the idea with that is that I can already push the kick and snare as loud as I can without having too much distortion, and I kind of already know like what's the maximum level of like the maximum loudness of the mix down. And then usually, like, well, all the time I'll start with the big I'll start with the drop. So I'll just like make a bass, and the first bass I'll mix it in with like the kick and snare, mixing it in like as loud as I can, and then I'll just go from there, and like always try to mix things as I go. And the reason why the saturated from the beginning is like I can like mix it, but like push it, like redline it, and it will still sound good because the saturator is there. It's gonna distort harmonically, and it's gonna control everything. But don't go too crazy with it, because otherwise, if you take it off, like I don't know if it's gonna sound too crazy.
We get a mother.
Oh well.
We get a mother.
In that case, it sounds pretty good without it. Sometimes you can just take it off, and like the kick and snare is overly too loud. So be careful with that. But yeah, that's basically like the little thing I wanted to go over for the mastering. It's really like the trick is like having the limiter on from the start. Oh shit, Brian is there, man. You finally here. We're just over now. But yeah. So basically the idea is like having the saturator on there from the start, so you can like already know like the maximum loudness you can go to, and then you can just mix everything as you go. Because for me, like that was one of the questions earlier, like how do you know like how do you stay like organized in a 200 track project? It's basically like this, because I can like add a sound, and I pretty much know I will never go back and like edit it. Like all of the sound, it's just like most of the bass stuff I'll EQ it along the way as I make the song, because I'll listen to the drop and I'll be like, oh, I feel like it could be like a bit more, you know, intense, maybe a bit more distortion, whatever. So yeah, I'll edit it as I go, but yeah. So yeah, I totally forgot what I was about to say. Sorry. So yeah, but do you guys have any other question before we finish this off, or is it good? Because it's been pretty fun on my side for sure to just like show you how I made this. Yeah, separate writing sesh and the sound design sesh. This kind of stuff. Yes, man, it's dumb, but like sometimes not having to care. Like when you make sound design and you don't have any idea, of like where you want to go with it, you can make like crazy stuff, and then like, when you like, you can save them and like just reuse them all the time. It's like, first it helps you build your own sound design, your own sound, and it's like super easier to like after that just build track, you know, from the start. My pleasure, Chris. All right, so it's 1:48. All right, so I'll say goodbye to all of you guys, and thank you for tuning in. It's been really like, I'm happy about it, you know. Thank you. All right, see you guys.